We are back, finally. Last week has been bad. I've been not posting content, but now we're finally back. I don't like excuses, but it's just more saying it as a reason. So I'm not saying this is why I didn't post, because I could have posted anyway. But I just moved into a new office, and I've been trying to focus a bit more on at the office, like trying to network, try to talk to people, just being a little bit more active there instead of working so much. And then of course, since I didn't work so much, I felt I didn't have time for content. But that's the thing with content, you should just do it regardless. There's no excuses. So yeah, to just get started, so this is another website I just launched. It's also Redesign. To be honest, this is not the most fair showcase of this website, because I use this tool, Wayback Machine, where you can go back in time and watch websites, and it doesn't always keep the right ratios and not the right structure, but it is a quite decent depiction of what it was. So this was a website before. It's a landscaping based business, and also so it's like classic landscaping, but also focus on arboristry, I don't know what it's called in America, but tree work, so like very detailed tree work and very licensed tree work. As you can see, let's see here, not so much here that he wrote it, but that's also part of the project I did, but I'll talk about it later. We'll first go over the website. So few basic things that I don't think is smart is this thing, of course, where you have white text that you can't really read, because what I see right here is called the hero section for people who are not really familiar with websites, and that's the most important, because that's first impression people see, and if that doesn't really speak to them, they'll bounce. They go away from the website and never to be seen again. And the header plus the description is the best way to keep people on the website, as in to inform why they should stay or what are you doing. So what we usually want to do is like a combination. I like to do a combination of like very simple messaging what you do, but also you want to do a little bit more SEO based. So for example, landscaping maintenance services in whatever area. I'll talk about this later. I did that for the new website. And then just quick description. This is fine. It's kind of basic. I think design wise it didn't look so good. It was more like quite basic, I would say old school websites. And that's just the point of the redesign, where we try to make it look a little bit nicer. So services, I do like that the services are right away here under the hero section. This is also kind of classic, again, not super amazing. This was quite a big problem. So you see it's just placeholder text, and this website has been live for a long time but not generating traffic, and there's like a few things like this which makes it make sense. And this is also not the fault of the guy who made the website, because my client, the one who hired me, kind of put the project a little bit on pause and didn't spend so much time on it, so there's no like rush to get this done, but I do still want to use it as like the benchmark to what I did. So this is a little bit more towards like SEO, where we try to include service areas, try to see what's up, so that's very good. I want to build this out a little bit more, but I'll talk about that later as well. And yeah, there's a few more pages like about us, but kind of basic information. This was interesting, I would say, landscaping associations. So all the associations he is in and licensed in. Let me just try to go there. Of course, with this Wayback Machine, the website's loaded very different, because it's just old, like it's not even live anymore. In a way, I put my website now on this domain, so it's in a way not live. That's why it takes a little bit to load. So yeah, this was a pretty good, I would say, page to include. Of course, I don't know what the benefit would be of an extra page, so I included it on the homepage, but I'll go over that. So in short, this is the website that was right now or present when I took over. It's always good to kind of use, like I said, as a starting point, more in terms of content as well, because there's like services kind of like describing a little bit of things. So now to the new website. This is the website I did. This is, I would say, right into the point I was talking. We want to say quick and easy what we're doing. And I asked him, I first had different areas. I think I said Litchfield Park, which is also an area close to them, but then I talked with him and he said in the valley, because people who live in the valley, this is in Phoenix, Arizona, they'll understand it. And that's also a nice thing, where if people feel spoken to, that's always good marketing. It's more towards ads, but I think it's cool to have that idea anyway, so that they're like, hey, that's me. I'm in the, like, I need expert tree care and I'm in the valley. So that's right away, like, kind of connection. Kind of going a little bit deeper into what we do, like arbor expertise, craftsmanships, trees, outdoor spaces, landscaping. And then here, this is again more like a SEO play. And then a very clear call to action. Not that the other website didn't have that, but I just want to make it very clear. And we were a little bit in between what we should do, because as you can see, he offers more things than just tree care services, but he wants to focus on tree care. So that's why we just went with a tree care assessment. Of course, they can just take contact, and not that this will come back all the time, because also we added a free quote button here and contact. So the main thing would be just contact in general, but he wants to kind of like not niche down, but more focus on tree care. That's why we kind of slowly try to venture there. But of course, he offers all the services, so it's stupid to not include him. So that's kind of the point I had. There was two websites, TCGS Landscape and Arborist Expertise or something in that direction. So purely tree care and purely landscaping and the classic landscaping services. So now he wanted them combined because they kind of go hand in hand, but it's also sometimes interesting to separate them because it's very different in terms of insurance and a lot of different things. But yeah, let's stay focused on the website part. He has a lot of cool services he offers, and I try to include some cool pictures. I want to include more pictures, but yeah, I'm not at location. I live in Norway and he lives in Phoenix, Arizona, so it's hard. Not that I would do an amazing job with pictures, but because I'm getting better, but I'm not good yet. So I would say there could be more interesting pictures, but this is the owner, so that I like to see, like try to show his face, try to show Vans with the logo, just show professionalism and show in work progress pics, you call it, but just at work, which I always like, because then you also see, okay, when they do a job, they're safe and secure, and you can kind of, sometimes it's easy for people to understand what you can do, because you can write arbor expertise, but some people don't even know what that means. I'm of course not American, but I know that that's how it goes in every niche, that even though it could be so obvious to you as the expert, people, they just have a branch over their garage and they want it fixed, so they don't know even how to search arborist expertise, tree removal, something like that. So it's very good to showcase as well, because it makes it easy for people to understand. But of course, they have to first Google to get to this page, but still, it's a very nice way to showcase anyway. I think this is amazing to always include this, because if your company is actually has a lot of experience and is old, let's just include it because it makes sense. Because this company was started by his dad, and he's been doing it for a lot of years, so that's like perfect showcase of experience and also expertise, because it's kind of goes hand to end. This is, I would say, a very important section. I first included the four main categories, because this is what I said, we are going to combine services. So before this was one website actually, and these were kind of this was even not offered, but these two were on the old website, and it became a lot of services, as you can see. So I was trying to think of a way, because I don't want to overwhelm people with choices, so I just wanted to make the main pages. But he was also saying I want the subcategories to be showing, so I try to find a way, and this, I would say, is a very small, easy way to do that. So if they click on tree care, they will go to the main page, and if they go to for example here, I can just go there quickly, you go to services, tree care management. So that's very important. First of all, again, I've said it multiple times, probably in videos, but you have to assume people are stupid on the website. Just make it child's play to navigate it. But also, this is very good SEO play. So if you can see here, Google is just a robot in a way, and it's an algorithm. So if you have this structure, so the services, there's tree care, and then there's tree care management, and it all kind of ties together. So for example, if I go to tree care, they can also go here. So these are the three subcategories. And then here is actually more, but that's more like interlinking. So it's very good for SEO. But I would say for me, SEO is very important in this case, but it was also very much for people to navigate, which was, I would say, actually top one prio on SEO 2, even though SEO is super important, because yeah, there's a lot of things we're offering, and it just needs to be easy for people to find it. So if they just want to navigate and read a little bit, they can go here. But if they know, let's say, stump grinding is quite specific, they can just go right to stump grinding and go right into the nitty gritty of it all. So yeah. Then there's my beautiful association list. I just try to include it here, try to link to them as well so people can actually understand what this is. Because, for example, I, who am just a digital marketer and have no clue about this, I could, if I need people to have trees removed, I could just want to click it. So instead of just having logo, have like a links to it. So here, of course, it's in the logo, but you understand this like the local chamber of commerce, which is very good to have. Again, also SEO wise, because it's just backlinks. So meaning that website, this one is getting a lot of traffic and this one even more. And then if they can link to your website, it just shows to Google again, man, these guys are legit. Let's push them in the algorithm SEO. This is more very simple, just a little bit about what we do and what we stand for, about us. I'm always, actually, to be honest, myself a little bit unsure sometimes where I should include this and how interesting this is, because I'm a little bit in between. Sometimes you want to show your face and show who you are and what you've been doing. Other times I'm like, people don't care. So I try to usually include it on the homepage, but put it a little bit down. So first services, first other interesting things, and then this. This I love. So this is the 3-step or like 4-step usually process for how we go to work. Again, it comes a little back bit. You have to assume people are stupid, so explain them what's going to happen. First, you take contact for consultation, then we implement, and then we follow up and maintenance, because they do a lot of maintenance, which is then of course a nice upsell, but also good for people to understand that they do this. Again, actually this is a call to action, so these are the 2 main ones. But this is important. It seems sometimes simple, and I know a lot of clients of mine who don't want this on the website, but this is like a standard thing to include, actually. And again, here, this is also, I would say, a little bit more about this, because there were a few more like very raw pictures. So this one, I just asked a worker who I personally know who works at this company, who is his father-in-law, just, can you please take me some pictures? Because he's definitely not a photographer. Wow, my English. But I would say this is nice because people understand a little bit more what's going on. My idea was, okay, they see they're working on like business properties. So I don't know if it is a mall, but it looks like a business front at least. So like it just showcases professionalism, even though the picture in itself could be not amazing, but it's just more than nothing, you know. This is of course nice. You can kind of show that they do all kinds of work. And again, the face, I repeated this picture, but I thought it was very good with the logo on the helm and him showing like very into the work. This is, I would love to extend this a little bit more. I just added 2 blogs myself, because just to show a little bit, because I think here there could be quite a nice SEO play with more tips and tricks, and a blog about how to take care of the trees, more in terms of you can give it information but then sell the implementation, which is what I always say with my marketing clients, and like more into the info, not for like this traditional. But of course, people could be very interested in tree care, but they don't have the tools and everything themselves, but they could still be Googling and try to just learn about it. So my client, the owner, he has a lot of knowledge to share in terms of arborist experience and landscaping. So it's a little bit hard, I guess, to set up a system where he can just dump all the information to me and I can make a blog around it. But it's a very interesting play. So I just included a blog already, and I think it looks kind of fancy as well, so that's good. Very important is FAQ, especially because I said I wanted to make it easier for people to navigate and kind of understand what we do. So this could honestly be extended a little bit. It's the more basic questions that people ask. For example, this one, provide emergency. That's not really something we described so much in the services, but that's something they really do, and it's a nice service. So there's like extra extension to it, and like I said, I think we could even go to 10 questions, but you don't want to spam it. But technically, in terms of information to provide, definitely. And then I would say a very nice footer. It's maybe the more extensive ones I've used, because I wanted to make it good and more like a call to action, because we have the tree assessment. So this is more like the general contact page, and I want to make it obvious for people to take contact, and also that's why we try to showcase the number and the email very big. So that's quite good. And then just classic, just the services and kind of all the links. I would say this is more important to go into, like about and gallery is not so important. It's kind of nice looking with some cool images and some cool what we do. This is, I would say, a cool cool looking thing, but yeah, it's not so interesting for this video. But this is more interesting. So going into the services, so I was contemplating also doing all the subcategories under here, but I decided not to, because I feel that gets too much and people get a little bit lost in the sauce. So here I wanted to keep the 4 main ones and make it very obvious to click. And then, like I said, I will go a little bit deeper into the actual structure. So this is more general information for tree care. Try to add some pictures as well. And potentially what I want to do is add an FAQ specific for tree care in this tree care page, because that's also an SEO play. But this is, I would say, more important is the structure. I kind of briefly talked about it. So example of tree care services, these are all the subcategories. So if you click here, you see it just adds a URL. That's the easiest way to kind of go about it. Yeah, so another thing is, so the interlinking, so you can go from, let's say, from landscape, you can go straight to tree care. So that's very good, because that gives a signal to Google as well that you're doing a good job with like linking between pages. And a nice way or easy way for a link between pages from one service to another service, just to show, like I say, explore other services. In a way, I don't think in a way a lot of people will click this, but they might. And that's more inextensive of the bigger picture. Another very good indicator for SEO of a good website is a session time, so how long they stay on the website. So if this is like 10 seconds compared to minutes, your website will get pushed like crazy. So we always try to aim for 1 minute, but then of course your website needs to be interesting enough information. So for me, sometimes it's also just a way, let's say they even from Google, they come straight to tree care. Let's just say irrigation. It's very random, but they don't go, they Google irrigation service, they come to this website. And if I wouldn't have, let's say, more service, they of course can go on the menu bar here on top and click, but it's just now they might click on other service page, and then they'll read that as well, which includes or increases the spend time. This is just an example. This is not that it happens right away, but that's just more like the thought process behind it and why it makes sense of doing it. So the last thing is the most important, I would say, potentially, is the contact page. That's why we want to keep linking it and making it very obvious in the header. Like we said, there's a tree assessment thing, which just leads here because it's just for people to take contact. Potentially in the future, we want to maybe like a separate page or landing page for that specific reason, so people can have like a separate form. So whenever it comes to the client, you can see this is a tree assessment or this is just a general contact. But for now, it just leads here because people will take contact in the message section. But yeah, this is, I would say, the last page that is the most important and just very simple. So make it easy for people to take contact. Again, assume they're stupid. And again, this doesn't mean people are stupid, but just assume they are stupid, and it makes it easy for them. You're dealing with old people, you're dealing with people that don't know, like I said, maybe about tree care or what's up. So just make it easy for them as well, not only the experts in the field, to take contact with you. So easy number, easy email, easy form. Very simple. Last thing, which is most important for a few reasons, is website speed, which is heavily important in SEO, which makes your website rank higher, but also user friendliness. So it's such a win-win situation. Try to optimize this. And that's also why I use Framer, because out of the box is just so quick. Of course, I optimize the website, so all the images you see are heavily optimized. So they're WebP images, very technical, but it's just optimized for web, and they're not so big in file size. So like a 1 or 2 megabyte picture could go back down to 300 kilobytes and load a lot faster. So as you can see, there's quite a lot of, I would say, images on this homepage, but the speed of which is load is just amazing. You can see it's just so quick, which is amazing. And that's, yeah, I optimized it, but with Framer it's just so fast straight out of the box, and you can make fancy websites and they're still very fast. So that's very good. So yeah, Framer is the way to go. I'm actually building a Framer community in Norway, trying to kind of be a little bit more on the forefront in Norway. So if you're a Norwegian Framer designer or a developer, just take contact, and I just want to build a group and kind of build out a community for Framer. So yeah, peace.